To the fact that Dundee yet haven't scored a goal against Dundee in their 2 matches so far, but they have a very positive team selected this afternoon by Jim Duffy. They're without Stephen Robb and Mark Fotheringham, who are unfit, but that's otherwise very attack-minded. With Tam McManus fit again, preferred an attack to John Sutton, who's on the bench. Defender Brent. Michael Ball, Bob Malcolm and Dado Perso, who returns after suspension.
Yeah, I think there'll be a little tweak in the formation today to cope with Caballero. I think Bob Malcolm's come into the side to just sit in front of Andrews and Kyriakos with a tight three of Ricks and Ferguson and Vignol across the middle of the park. And of course, the two strikers in form, Novo and Perso up front.
So it's the Rangers who have the recent edge between these two clubs for a lengthy period. Terry Butcher's along to see Rangers in particular with that CIS Cup final coming up a week today at Hampden Park, and he'll be very determined for his team to make a big impact on that particular occasion. The Rangers fans looking in very good form despite dropping those 2 points last week, but I think in realistic terms, Mark, there will be some more twists and turns, as they say.
Absolutely, there's plenty of football to go. 9 games left for Rangers, I think 10 games left for Celtic. There's a difficult midweek fixture coming up for Celtic, Inverness, Calais midweek. A team that are in form at the moment, and they'll fancy the chances there. So, as you say, Jock, plenty of twists and turns to come yet before the end of the season.
Right, conditions, if anything, worsening. You see the snow beginning to fall here at Dens Park. The pitch showing signs of wear after a very long, tough season. And of course, that open corner, the top left-hand corner of your picture, that open corner where the wind whistles through to make life very difficult indeed for both sets of players. But Rangers really must look on this as a great opportunity, because Dundee haven't won any of the last 16 meetings between the clubs at Dens Park. It really is quite remarkable.
Incredible, and yet to score a goal this season against Rangers, and that is a problem. I think Jim Duffy will be looking to alter that sort of statistic today, this afternoon. He has a goal scorer in Stevie Lovell. He has the trickery of Caballero, and McManus there, who's always likely to give you a goal. And the way that they're set up today with the three out-and-out strikers playing, seems to me that Jim Duffy will fancy his chances here today.
Fernando Rickson skippering Rangers in their change strip, largely all white. Gregory Vignol changing position from last week. He was at left back against Inverness Calais Thistle last week, but likely to play in midfield, we think, this afternoon. So the referee is Ian Brines, and he has the unusual distinction of doing his first Rangers away match in the SPL. The Dundee players taking the field in their familiar strip. Barry Smith leads them out. Made more than 300 league appearances for Dundee. Remarkable servant he's been, and the players entering the arena very anxious to get on with things, because it is bitterly cold and unpleasant overhead here at Dens. Well, changes have been made, and Tam McManus gets this opportunity to make an impact. He scored twice in his 5 games at Dundee, and a chipped bone in the ankle kept him out the last 2 games. Scored 3 times in 11 matches for Hibs against Rangers, and it's a great opportunity for him to restart his career after a very promising start under Alec McLeish at Hibs.
Bob Malcolm, young man, is coming into the side today, just slipping in front of the 2 centre-halves. 1 goal in 22 appearances this season, 3 goals in total. 2 of those goals coming against Dundee, believe it or not, so a lucky club for Bob Malcolm.
Well, Jim Duffy was furious with his team last week. I saw them play Livingston. It's the most abject performance I've seen from one of his teams for a very long time, but he didn't take that well at all. So it's Ian Brines who is the man in charge. Not good news, I think, for the Dundee supporters. He's had 5 Dundee matches and they've had defeats on every occasion. They're looking for a change in fortune this time. No suggestion, of course, that the referee had anything to do with that. So it's Caballero and Lovell preparing to get us underway at Dens Park. A crucial SPL match. And we're underway instantly. Indeed, it does look as though Dundee are operating in a 4-3-3 formation. Joel Kitamariki starting the match at right back with Callum MacDonald at left back. That's Caballero's cross and Andrews with a header. So over the top it goes for Caballero. They're going to charge into Michael Scott. Michael Ball, and that's throw at the corner flag.
Clumsy challenge there from Caballero, but it's nice to see Caballero actually chasing a fullback into the corner there. You know, big fingers always pointed at his work rate, but highly talented player.
So free kick taken quickly there. It's Marvin Andrews now in possession for Rangers. MacDonald showing his versatility, crossing to the left back position. Very promising young defender. Given away very easily there by Ferguson to Caballero. Well, great credit due, I would suggest, to Jim Duffy for the approach he's taken to this match. He did say there's nothing to lose, but he still has gone in a very positive formation.
I think he's right in what he's doing. You know, he's got to take the game forward to Rangers. It's no good just sitting back and hopefully, you know, digging in and trying to grind out a draw. Dundee need points.
Bobby Mann's free kick, looking there for Lee Wilkie. Andrews got there first for Rangers. This is Vignal. Plenty of time there for Mann. Novo up there on his own at the moment. Played along by MacDonald again. And Lovell putting pressure on Andrews. Trying very hard not to touch the ball. Managed that. A goal kick to Rangers.
Super defender there for Marvin Andrews, just using his bulk to usher the ball out of play. Stevie Lovell there. Good play from the defender.
Here's Kyriakos. He's made a very good impression the early part of his Rangers career. Made supporters really forget all about Jean-Alain Boumsong. Here's Forceau. So positive, making for the byline. Forcing that tough challenge right at the corner flag from Lee Wilkie.
I think that's the problem that Dundee are going to have today. Perso, Novo, both got the legs of the two central defenders.
Vignal to Malcolm. Under pressure instantly there from Barry Smith. What a fine job he does in the centre of the field. Malcolm has stayed down. He's taken a knock. And the referee's having a careful look back at Bob Malcolm, checking whether a treatment's required, but deciding that it isn't.
A great tackle from Barry Smith here. Yeah, just catching him right on the shin bone there. Straight through the ball. Fair tackle.
Ferguson's pass finds Ross. Attacking on the right-hand side. Barrett can intercept here for Dundee. Screening it well from Rickson, but running straight into Vignal. Good recovery work by McManus. This is Barrett once again. Well, I wondered about Dundee playing with the two big commanding centre-backs, perhaps not blessed with immense pace when it's a combination of Perso and Novo up front for Rangers.
Two static defenders playing side by side. That's why it's important, I think, for Barry Smith not to wander too far away from them. Give those two a bit of cover in front.
Gary Brady doing a marking job on Barry Ferguson, it would appear, in the early stages, tracking him everywhere. Here's Kyriakos into the gap there for Ball's run. Derek Suter has had a fine season for Dundee, despite the fact they've lost more goals than anyone else in the SPL. Not down to him, he really has performed some heroics. Strong challenge by Andrews. This is Malcolm. Wallace Ross keen to get forward. Back in his hometown, Ross started out life here in Dundee, and he's earned a throw.
Good play there from Maurice Ross, carrying the ball a good 30-40 yards.
Ross will take the throw. As Perso is a target, short. Novo stayed well away from the ball, actually. It's going to be Perso who has to link up. Solid defending by Dundee. Pass from Smith reaches Caballero. Andrews giving him no peace at all. Trinidadian against the Argentinian.
And that's what Caballero is good. Uses his body very, very well. Great first touch. Always accepting the ball even when he's marked, and takes it in superbly.
Long pass there intended for McManus. It's won easily by Ball. Brady in trouble there from Ferguson. No did well. This is Rickson. No one wide there at the moment. Ross had stayed back. A misunderstanding between Rickson and Ferguson. Smith comes bursting clear. Just a few months short of 10 years at Dens Park, Barry Smith. No, we're too pleased with that pass, but he hasn't played too many bad ones in his long career here. So tense early moments in the match. Novo, though, has found space here, dropping off the centre backs. Good movement offered by Vignal on the left. Purcell makes the near post. Cross is too deep, but that's Novo coming in. Rickson can retrieve. Now Ferguson. Careless one towards Malcolm. Well, it's a couple of loose passes from Barry Ferguson there in the match. That's right out of character for him. Interception by Ball. There's Kitamariki. Ferguson to Malcolm. Now Purcell. Malcolm opening it out. Good pass. Finds Rickson wide on the right. Novo's dummy allows Vignal to link up with him. Not a bad ball across either by Novo. I think Purcell wanted that stood up in the air, but it really was a good ball from Nacho Novo.
Yeah, super play there, super link-up play, the step over the ball. Little look up there, plenty of space, good ball across there. Purcell just hanging back for the ball to be hung up instead of exploding into the space that was there. It was a good opportunity.
McManus losing out there to Ball, who muscled him. This is Mann. Asking far too much there of Steve Lowell up front. McManus hugging the right-hand side at the moment. Caballero through the middle and Lovell on the left. Three-pronged attack for Dundee.
Got a good balance up front, Dundee. You've got the ability of Caballero that will always come to feet and take the ball in. And you've got McManus and Lovell. Lovell pace to burn to go behind defenders.
Ross reacts to a call there to let that bounce out for the throw. So it's going to be Maurice Ross will take this throw. Lee Wilkie. Kitamariki, 20 years old, from Kampala in Uganda. New face in the Dundee ranks. Came from Chelsea. He played in a UEFA Cup match for Chelsea against Hapoel Tel Aviv when he was just 17 years old. Here's Marvin Andrews. Well, the amazing thing here about Dundee is that they haven't scored a goal in the first 25 minutes of any game at Dens Park since Nacho Novo did that last May against Livingston. I wonder why they should be such slow starters. So here's McDonald with a throw. Headed down by Rickson. Out of play. First attempt was in vain, but they do have the throw, Rangers. Good interception made by Mann. Had to judge that one correctly. Well, it's all a bit untidy at the moment in the middle of the field.
I was going to say that, Jock's a bit sloppy at the moment, a bit lacklustre. I expect this game to have started a little bit quicker than this, especially for the on the Rangers side if you're a Rangers supporter.
Good pass from Brady. Here's Kitamariki. Calm play. Finds Smith in the centre. Mariki's made a very good run. Out of luck there, ball skipping away from him. Took up good position. Looks to be a good athlete, Mark.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. He's got a good build. Looks like plenty of energy. But, I think the wind and that slope in that corner just getting the best of him there.
So Batarus will take this goal kick, and the Rangers have had a rather flat, lifeless start to the match. That'll be of concern, I think, to Alec McLeish.
Yeah, I think he'll want the tempo picked up pretty quickly. I think this sort of pace, Jim Duffy and Dundee will be pretty comfortable to be playing in this game.
Well, Jim Duffy feeling the cold there. A sensible bit of headgear for him. Kyriakos now has ball outside him. Marking is very good among the Dundee players inside, although they have these three up. The two wide men, McManus and Lovell, certainly willing to go back and mark fullbacks.
Yeah, I think when you're playing three up front, I think Jim Duffy will be really pleased the way strikers are working at the moment. Just dropping back into midfield there and denying Rangers the space to pass the ball into.
Rickson took up a good angle there to take the pass of Kyriakos. Here's ball. Well, that would really frustrate his teammates and his manager, no question about that. A good opportunity for the cross.
Yeah, pretty poor stuff there from Michael Ball. The patience was applied. A few little passes, a few little 1-2s, and then the ball over the top, and then complete lack of concentration from Ball.
Well, 1992, the result was 4-3, and I can tell you firsthand because I was there. Ivo Den Beeman, remember him? Ian Gilzine scoring. Mark Haight was reminding me he was not playing in that game. Across it comes to Michael Ball. This is Vignal. Well, Vignal wanted the throw, but neither side official not happy with that, and it's going to be a Dundee ball. Derek Clark not helping Gregory Vignal's cause. Gidemariki. This is Wilkie. A welcome return for him to the ranks after a very lengthy spell out with a cruciate injury. 9 months he lost in his career. Well, he really had a lot of promise. 11 international caps so far, 9 months out. Started out with 5 red cards early in his career, but the last was way back in 2002, so he really has calmed down a lot. He might have sent him off that time, by the way. The downs against Aberdeen was Ian Rines, the man in charge today. Here's Rickson. Novo's layoff just a little bit too firm. It really hasn't settled down at all yet, has it?
Yeah, there's no rhythm to the game at all from both teams, but I think Dundee will be delighted that the pace is being played. The game is being played at this sort of pace. There's no urgency at the moment from Rangers, and I think Jim Duffy will be pleased just the way this game is being played.
Well, Andrews always shows his total commitment, and so too does Barry Smith, but that's a bit over-exuberant, the challenge there on Fernando Rickson.
Shoulder leading, yeah, just the shoulder right through the back of Fernando Rickson there, making contact with the ball, but player first.
Back to Andrews and Malcolm in that holding position in midfield. Kyriakos still has Malcolm available behind. Well, the efforts of Gary Brady have been very effective so far in keeping Barry Ferguson pretty quiet in the match. This is Purcell turning away from Barrett. Ahead goes Rickson, but the pass again with too much pace. Barrett under pressure there from Malcolm, and this is Purcell, chance to attack Wilkie. Now Novo. Rickson just need a touch.
It's better stuff from Rangers. Press in higher up. Bob Malcolm winning the ball initially. Giving it to Perso, sliding it off to Novo, out to Rickson, a cross shot. There's nobody getting on the end of it, but better play there better commitment in the tackle, pushing higher up, pressing higher up the park, winning the ball back deep in the Dundee.
Yeah, Bob Malcolm started it all with a very good challenge as Dundee tried to build. Oh, Andrews came a long way for that with no real prospect of reaching the ball. Barry Smith helped it on. Andrews lucky that didn't do any damage. That little flick on. What do you make of this Rangers formation, Mark? This 4-1-3-2. Do you like it?
Well, I think it's there for a purpose. Obviously, Dundee playing the 3-1's going to be dropping in there. Striker's going to be dropping in there. At the moment, it's Stevie Lovell. And I think if you're Alex McLeish, that is a problem area for you. Putting Bob Malcolm in there. You'll need Bob Malcolm to get more on the ball, where he can pass the ball and be influential, not just only as a defender, but also as a you know, a midfield type passing option for the for Rangers Football Club.
That's good build-up play. Purcell and Rickson together, and Noble won't get there ahead of Suter. Barry Ferguson, I suppose, must be used to this man marking situation.
Yeah.
Took it up there, challenging.
Should be used to this by now. I think you know, he's been down south, played against good players week in, week out. It's not, you know, one of these things that you have to think about, where you're going to take the man for man, the man that's marking it, a little catch there on the outside of the leg. You have to drift into areas where you want to take him, where it's beneficial to the team.
Kyriakos with the pass. Ball keeps it in well. No, he didn't. No, the assistant on this side says it was out for a throw. Derek Clark again involved.
A lot of stray passes coming from Rangers at the moment. I don't know if it's the wind. I think the wind's got a big influence over the game at the moment. A lot of stray passes, a lot of over-hit passes as well.
The throw goes out of play itself, and it's going to be taken again, I suspect. Well, Keita Mariki left Uganda at the age of 4, so he's been in the London area since then, when he's obviously experienced conditions not dissimilar to this. Here's Brady winning that from Ferguson. McDonald can break. Lovell turning beautifully against Ross. This is Smith. Strong against Noble, but Rickson's tackle was pretty strong. That's McDonald. Well, that's just a kick-up field there by Malcolm, not what Rangers really are looking for at the moment. Can't get settled in the ball. It'll suit Dundee to keep it this way for
keep it messy. Yeah, keep it messy, Jock. There's no pattern to play by either team at the moment, but Jim Duffy won't be bothered about that.
Lovell's pass. Caballero sets off, but Kyriakos has too much pace. Is it unfair to think that Caballero has been perhaps on a pound or two, Mark?
I think he's always been a stocky player, should we say, but great ability, as you would expect. Continental player, great appreciation of the football.
Headed on by Vignal. That's Brady. Now McManus. Breaking the ball's kind to him. Good change of pace. Kyriakos forced to match him. He does so very well indeed.
Good play from McManus there. He's getting the ball, getting in behind the fullback again. Coming together with the two players.
Keita Mariki with the throw, and no suggestion of a long one from him. It's down to Brady. Neat footwork. There's a feeling of tension about in the air here. Indeed, needing points desperately away from this relegation area. Rangers needing 3 points to stay in command in the championship. Brady back to McManus. He was held there by Purcell. Shot was pulled. The referee's quite right.
Purcell just closing him down, pulling his arm back there. Simple one for the referee. But a wasted free kick.
Well, you'd have to say the fact that Rangers have gone 25 league games without defeat, it's hard to imagine on the basis of the form shown so far. It's Vignal. Awkward for Purcell. Here's Wilkie. Nova cut off the pass back. Well, Wilkie was in trouble. He'd be very relieved to hear that whistle, I think.
Yeah, it's fortunate there. Initially back control from Purcell. Wilkie turned in. Nacho Nova behind him, but Purcell again tugging the arm.
Well, Purcell just back from suspension after that red card he sustained at Tynecastle in that infamous match. Headed away by Kyriakos. Call from Vaterus, obviously there to Andrews. Difficult work there for Rixon. He handled that extremely well. Here's Malcolm. Purcell's lay off. Cole very tight in there. Brady did well for Dundee. Here's McManus. Brady retaining possession well. Bathurst always looking for a teammate to throw the ball to from his own penalty box. McManus again in possession. Good weaving run there, caught by Malcolm. Purcell taking a bit of stick there from Michael Ball for the attempted little flick a moment ago.
It's good play from McManus there, driving forward, committing players to the tackle, giving himself another free kick.
And now there is a real threat from the set piece. Mann and Wilkie, huge guys in there in that penalty box for these free kicks. But so too is Andrews. What a good header away. Well, Andrews will certainly be required in circumstances with Wilkie and Mann attacking set pieces. Here's Callum MacDonald now for Dundee. Barrett helps it on. Here's Caballero. Shooting chance for Brady. Well, perhaps put off by Caballero somewhat.
There was a wee little slip in there as well as the ball came back. Donald with a hopeful ball in. And Caballero juggling around with it. Yeah, running into each other, and a standing foot just slipped away from him. At a moment of contact.
Vignal plays it long. Well, only one shot apiece in the opening 24 minutes or so. Can't claim that's any real surprise. It has been very disappointing fare so far. But you have the feeling it could burst to life at any moment with one little bit of inspiration or a major incident.
I think that's what it's going to take, Jock. It's going to need somebody to get a hold of this game and make a sensational pass, a spark to ignite, which is, must be said, a pretty dull game at the moment.
Well, the big men have not gone forward this time for Dundee. The angle not right. Same for McManus. Well, I thought he was fouled by Vignal. The referee has no sympathy, and it's Vignal who breaks. Ball supporting. This is Malcolm. Ross picking out Novo, who's still restless as ever up front. That's for Ferguson. Brady's still with him, but managed to play it back, although Barrett got there ahead of Novo. Disappointing pass in the end. Barry Smith in the area of Fernando Rixon much of the time. Brady with Ferguson. This is Purcell. Now Rickson. Ferguson's found some space. There's Malcolm. Michael Ball going inside this time, looking for an option ahead. Well, Dundee have coped extremely well. Foul by Ferguson on Caballero. Taken very quickly. McDonald at full stretch though. Frisky surface.
Very, very lively. The wind doesn't help. It's a pretty firm bounce as well. Ball gathers space, gathers at the pace when it's bouncing with the contact to the surface. But must be said, some very, very poor passing on display this afternoon.
As you recall, the last time these two sides met here in the league, it took 78 minutes for Nachanova to get the breakthrough for Rangers. 2-0 win in the end, looked quite comfortable, but a long anxious spell before first goal. With Caballero. Now Kitamariki. McManus outside him. Here's Caballero again. Goalkeeper did all right there, kept possession well. That's Barrett. Tackled strongly by Andrews. Good header out by Malcolm. Space here for Noah to run. And he's closed down very rapidly by the experienced figure of Gary Brady. Brady again. Trying to link with Barrett, didn't quite come off. Good position taken up by Fernando Rickson. Steve Lovell, spotting danger, gets back very quickly. Here's Vignal. Ball has gone outside him. Vignal goes inside. That just about sums up the performance so far of these teams, especially Rangers. They've been very disappointing. Dundee, I think, can take great satisfaction in the way in which they've set up themselves defensively. They've worked extremely hard. And if Rangers had any doubts before the match, they were in a serious contest. These doubts will be dispelled now. That was a slow one. Man late on Rickson.
So a lunge from the big centre half there. Super little ball in from Michael Ball. Yeah, just catching him high up on the hip. Lucky to get away with just a warning there, I think.
I'll tell you, that in European terms, that's quite a remarkable decision not to show a yellow card. Thigh high as studs. I mean, really was some tackle. Just perhaps a shade too far out, I think, for a direct strike and goal. Still 3 in the wall for Dundee. Flighted in by Ball, and it's Mann who gets there in a Purcell. Wallace Ross thought he should have had the throw.
The optimistic ball into the box there with the big two at the back. Wilkie and Mann. It might have been worth an effort of, especially with this surface, Jock a shot and looking to pick the rebounds up there, make the goalkeeper work, because he's done very little the first half.
Did he have a free kick? So Callum McDonald take this free kick. Well, they certainly found goals extremely hard to come by. These Rangers last 6 games, they only scored once. It was Nacho Novo who did it. Here's Andrews. Good tackle by Mann. That's well played by Rickson. Every Dundee player now back facing the ball except Caballero. Kiriakos to Purcell. Heavy tackle by Smith. The referee saw nothing wrong with that. Here's Kiriakos. Look how deep Ferguson's had to go to get possession there. Still Brady's with him. It's well won by Malcolm. Cross from Purcell to Ross. Here's Novo. Shown inside there by Mann. Good running by Ross outside him. Well, there's been a lot of thought into this by Dundee, especially defensively. The way Bobby Mann there showed Novo inside, into trouble. He was not going to allow him to go on the outside. Jim Duffy entitled to be very pleased with his tactical decisions today. Little nudge on Bob Malcolm as the ball came forward. Free kick already taken. Here's Kyriakos. Michael Ball plays it towards Purcell. Here's Vignal charging forward now. And it's good goalkeeping by Suter. He stayed very calm. Bad throw out though. Still a problem on. Here's Purcell. Down he goes. He's going to be yellow carded for that. It really wasn't necessary at all, was it?
Not nice to see. Big man's got more ability than that. One thing on his mind, getting the ball, driving between the two defenders, trying to commit the tackle. Bit of a poor show, that. The referee,
well,
straight out of the yellow card.
Ian Bryan's absolutely right. There are so many good things about Dado Purso's game. His energy, his control, his commitment, his enthusiasm. And then he lets us down from time to time with things like that. Vignal's header. Here's Wilkie. Kyriakos nudged there by Caballero at the key moment. He can't believe he's not getting a free kick for that. He'll have some sympathy too. There's Caballero again, screening the ball away from Ball. Well tackled by Kyriakos. And Caballero stayed down after that challenge from Kyriakos. That's Ball's header. Now Vignal. Was it handball? Yes, I think, says the referee. It's going to take action here. Referee Ian Bryan's going to speak to Kyriakos, I think, about the tackle on Caballero. The allowed advantage there. Staying with Dundee, that's why there was no free kick given.
Yeah, I think it was that lunge there, catching clearly Caballero on the outside of the foot. Just a little word in Kyriakos there from the referee.
Bob Malcolm, very deep. That was his role, just in front of the two centre halves. Peter Mariki was able to head that out, but the flag was up for offside. Well, Rangers do need some positive attacking play and runners from the middle of the field. Gregory Vignal has been trying.
Yeah, this was one of the better sides of Rangers' performance in the first half. Good positive run, driving between defenders. Just a little too heavy on that final touch.
Misunderstanding there between Ball and Kyriakos, not that it came to any harm. So Ball with a throw. Wilkie wins that from Purcell. Here's Purcell possession now. It was played hopefully into space. Novo gives chase willingly, but no prospect of getting to the ball. Now he can put pressure on McDonald, who is very calm there. Starting his 15th consecutive match in the side, McDonald, this afternoon, 21-year-old. This is Smith. Now Brady, released from the duty of looking after Ferguson while Dundee have possession. Put in by McDonald, a good ball in, and Barrett was just out of reach. Inches away from a not-being goal for Dundee.
Fantastic ball in there, fantastic position Barrett finds himself in, just drifting between the two defenders, inches away from getting his head to that. Best patches of play for Dundee.
Well, he hasn't scored for Dundee, Neil Barrett. A great time for him to start. So let off for Rangers. Forward comes Malcolm. Ferguson helps that on beyond Brady, but Mann collects. Andrews totally decisive going for that. Here's Purcell. Cover was provided though by Mann for McDonald. Here's Vignal. Malcolm has ball on the left hand side. Vignal comes short. Here's Ferguson. Brady closes him down. Kiriakos joining in from centre back. Losing out to Lovell. A heavy tackle there by Kiriakos to make sure that didn't develop. It's going to be a yellow card for Kiriakos. He might call that a professional foul. He knew he was out of position. Stopped the move immediately.
Just catching him, Lovell there, right in the foot. Fresh in the mind of referee Rhymes. It was the earlier incident in Caballero. 2 free kicks in a short space of time.
Well, Rangers have scored in the last 24 league matches, so still some hope for their supporters at the moment. Caballero's cross, thumped away by Ball. Kirimariki did well. That's Brady helping it on. Gary Brady again, driving at the Rangers defence. Good movement. Here's Brady again, keeping possession for McManus. Barrett had no support beside him there. Very difficult ball to take. Right, just about sums up Rangers' first half performance. That bouncing up Vignal straight to Kirimariki. Careless one though. Malcolm and McManus together. The referee's not happy with Bob Malcolm's challenge.
I think you'll find Bob Malcolm, there was no contact whatsoever, went to slip and took his foot away. The referee got that one wrong.
Here's Gary Brady though, the free kick. Here's Lovell now, Kiriakos giving chase. Back with McDonald. Barry Smith back defending to allow the big men to go forward. One of them is Wilkie, but it's Barrett who wins it. Here's Barrett again. Back to McManus. Here's Kiriakos. Ferguson halted his tracks by Smith. What a good tackle that was. Now Neil Barrett. On the far side is Lovell. Dundee are growing in confidence here. Still retaining possession well. Lovell needing support. Gets it from Brady. Here's Callum McDonald. Andrews left with no option to thump that away with his head. It's all untidy and difficult for Rangers. Dundee are putting him under pressure. Jim Duffy entitled to be delighted with this performance. Put away by Ross. Here's Noble. Now the counter-attack is on. Vignal is brought down by McManus. The advantage is given as Noble breaks. Great running by Noble. He's still going. It's still Noble. And the final touch let him down. Just a shade too heavy. How unlucky he was.
What you expect from Nacho Novo, picking the ball up very, very deep, committing the tackle through the defenders, winning that one. A bit of fortune there, but just too heavy on that final touch.
Scored out there for the throw to Dundee. Well, let's get a view of the touchline from our touchline reporter, Scott Booth.
Yes, Jock, I think there's a little bit of indecision here for Rangers. I think you can see Barry Ferguson and Bob Malcolm are both in the same sort of situation. They're both trying to take the ball from the defence, and I think it's a bit of indecision there who they want to give the ball to and who's got to start the attacks for Rangers, and I think it's actually stopping them from building up any sort of momentum, especially in midfield. And because of that, of course, Dundee are gaining a little bit of confidence from that. They are more on the ball over the last 10-15 minutes than I think Rangers want them to be.
Well, interesting that, Mark. The problem here, Bob Malcolm sitting in front of the two centre-backs. Barry Ferguson, the playmaker. We have certainly a difficulty in that department, getting moves started.
Well, Barry Ferguson, for me, doesn't need to go back there and pick up the ball. You've got an ideal guy in Bob Malcolm that can get the ball, pass the ball. He's in a position where he should be picking the ball up. And Barry Ferguson's being man-marked very, very tightly. He should be taking him away, taking him up into the front line and taking that extra Dundee player out of that midfield area, which is very congested at the moment, and leaving a little bit more space there. Barry Ferguson needs to take the player where he wants to take him.
Good layoff that by Purcell to Novo. Danny Smith closing him down. Suited at full stretch. Here's Vignal. Well, that's too heavy, the cross for Purcell, but Novo wins it back. That was close. The referee has given a corner, I think, has he not? Seemed to signal wide. No, it's a goal kick.
Just flapping at that suitor at the far post. Vignal flicking it back in. Far too heavy. And a cross shot. Well wide of the target. You see the bubble here. For me, if I was a midfield player, I told him to take a few pot shots in there. Very, very bubbly in the goalmouth areas.
Half-time fast approaching. Worrying times for Rangers, without question. But here's Purcell trying to do something about that. Pulled that back more in hope and expectation, I think. Here's Barry Smith. Trojan's roll in the middle of the field for Dundee this afternoon. This is Rickson. Taken from behind by Lovell. Swift wants to take that quickly, but Caballero made life difficult. Now it's Vignal. Also coming deep. Now Michael Ball. Closed down by McManus, working very hard in defence now for Dundee when Rangers have the ball. Vignal now can deliver a cross. Purcell wants it short. Now Malcolm. Has he time to set up a shot? Now Novo. Lovell way back helping in defence. Thumps it away. Marvin Andrews in a big hurry. They either want to get things moving before half-time. I think they'd rather avoid the wrath of their manager if it's all square at half-time. An opening goal would make a difference, I've no doubt. But it doesn't look terribly likely at the moment. Dundee looking every bit as likely. Here's Malcolm. Now Vignal. It's a good ball. Here's Novo with Ross. Vignal again. Here's Bob Malcolm. Novo helps it on. That's Wilkie at full stretch. Good play by Kidamariki at the expense of a corner. Decisive defending.
More patient build up there from Rangers, not forcing the ball. Quite prepared to recycle it. Be patient.
Michael Ball laying it back here to Vignal. There's going to be no additional time at the end of this half. So we're going to, a minute and a half left. There's Caballero with the charge for Dundee. There's Nacho Novo back to win possession. Frustration all over his face. Never short of commitment and effort, Novo. Kidamariki with the throw. It's Caballero. McManus helps it on. Heavy tackle by Andrews. He was late there on Barrett. The apology offered instantly.
Committed tackle, committed foul, as you would expect from Marvin Andrews, but well away from the ball.
This is a really decent opportunity. We're going to win the assistance here on this set piece. I wonder if there may be an attempt to take around Coral Vaterus from here.
Bobby Mann looks like he's lining up for this one. Only two in the wall.
A That's well taken by Batterus. Well, that's the kind of shot you were talking about, Mark, that bounced around the keeper.
Absolutely. I think, you know, I can't believe there's not been more efforts. The ground is very, very bobbly. Lots of mistakes being made, as we've seen with the passing and the control. It'll be the same for the goalkeepers. Not one goalkeeper yet been made to work.
Half-time, 0-0, undistinguished, no question about that. And for Rangers, a lot of food for thought for the second half.
Yeah, I think that man will be frustrated, annoyed with the first half performance, and I think there'll be a few harsh words spoken in them dressing rooms, just clearing his throat, getting ready to go.
So Dens Park not seeing one of its best ever matches. It could all change though in the second half, so don't go away. At half-time at Dens, it's Dundee 0, Rangers 0. Yes, Rob, we're looking to this with a degree of optimism that must improve, there's no doubt about that. And Nacho Nova's trying to get the Rangers supporters fired up for this second half, but I think they'll take a lead from the players rather than from any encouragement of that kind. So it will be interesting to see if any tactical alterations are made by Rangers in particular, because it was Dundee who seemed to me, Mark, to have the success tactically in the first half.
Absolutely, I think they got it spot on. I think man for man on Barry Ferguson has stifled a lot of Rangers play. I'm just saying, you know, urgency, a lot more urgency required from the Rangers team if they're to get anything out of this game, Joe.
That's a good pass there from Ferguson. Now has a chance to go on the return ball. This is Purcell. He couldn't take that to feet, but it was a much sharper bit of play though by Rangers.
Better play from Rangers. Little wall pass off Nacho Novo. Just a overhit pass again from Barry Ferguson, but Barry Ferguson in a better area for me.
Well, Dundee coming off a really poor run. They've lost the last 3 league games without scoring a goal. Goals have been a premium all season for them. He's a chance to have Neil Barrett on the run. He's got Kyriakos with him. Kyriakos very careful there to make no rash challenge. Caballero got above Ross, but Ross did enough to make sure he didn't get that on target. Perhaps an indication though that Dundee believe this game is there to be won.
Absolutely, still committing players forward as you would expect at 0-0. Stevie Lovell there just sneaking in. Caballero arriving late on the far post, getting himself on the fullback. Just off target.
Kidabariki's header. Well, young Joel Kidabariki's done nothing wrong so far in his first full match for Dundee. Well, marking that of Purcell. Wilkie. Purcell eased off the ball by Kidamariki. That's going to be a free kick, and Purcell took a slow one there. He's off the field. The game will not be held up while Purcell gets attention. Really in some distress here.
I think he just gets his studs caught as he's going off there, just twisting his ankle there. I think that's what it is.
We'll have to wait before he can come back. Inyel plays it in straight to Suter. Purcell is back on the field. Just Purcell ball straight away. Linking with Vignal. That's Kidabariki's header. And no sense of ambition about that pass from Barrett for Dundee. And ambition may well be for Dundee a 0-0 draw. That would be a major blow to Rangers' hopes, having dropped these 2 points at home last week against Inverness Kelly Thistle. There's Bobby Mann with a header. In goes Malcolm. Now Novo trying to flick towards Purcell. This is Vignal. Support comes from Malcolm. He's always been available in that sitting midfield role. And Lovell again doing a good job getting back to make certain that Morris Ross at fullback can't make progress. The same has happened on the other side with Tom McManus on Michael Ball. Here's Novo. Well, it's not looking any easier for Rangers, is it?
Well, stifled again so far. 9 minutes, 4 minutes sorry, into the second half. It seems to be pretty much as the first half finished. Not a lot of urgency. As long as it goes like this, I think Jim Duffy will be delighted.
There's a point he probably didn't budget for in his battle against relegation. So if he can hang on to one, I think he will be indeed delighted. That's Andrews, determined, going for the ball. Brady slices that pass, but it runs kindly for Kinamariki. Manis to Brady. That's McDonald. Well, Lovell was expected to make a run into that area. Does so belatedly. Unlucky there, Lovell. He did get the ball, but couldn't keep it in play. Well, Batarus, I said, I think I can recall one save so far, Mark.
Yeah, one save from a Bobby Man free kick, straight down his throat. Both goalkeepers have been pretty redundant this afternoon.
I love that dead ball with a left foot from Batarus, one of which is his natural side. This is Rickson. Put it away by Wilkie. This is Morris Ross now for Rangers. That's for Novo. Vignal and Kinamariki in a race. It's gone for a goal kick though for Dundee. Novo wasn't far away here.
Super ball in from Morris Ross here. Just dinked in there to the near post. A good swing with the right foot, just clipping the ball, just not getting enough to make it go goal bound.
Was he going for too much power, I wonder?
Bobby Man made a good block, made himself big.
Kiriakos with a header. Wilkie in command at the back. Free kick is given against Barry Ferguson. He can't believe that. I think he thinks that was a joke, or some kind of a joke.
Actually not a lot in that. I think Barry just getting his body across the player.
Brady comes short, stumbles. That's what caused the problem there. Still ran kindly for Dundee though. The deflection giving them the throw. Caballero's header goes straight to Vignal. Good leap by Purcell. He's won it well there from Brady. This is Ferguson. Now Novo has Rickson steaming forward on the right hand side. Purcell and Novo in the box. Ferguson at the edge of the box. Here's Purcell. Novo trying to be a nuisance there in front of Derek Sutter. He went for that ball with no conviction at all, Novo. Didn't expect to get on it.
No, I think the ball goes up in the air and all he's expecting here is for the goalkeeper to come right through him. Sutter did well.
Ross misjudged it. Looks a good recovery. This is Brady. An apology offered there to Barry Smith from Gary Brady. Good header on by Purcell. That kind of pass back to a goalkeeper can be treacherous on this surface. It does bobble in front of keepers. But Sutter was safe there. Here's Rickson. This is Kiriakos. Have a look at that for the shot count. That's us into the second half. Tells us something about that. One on target. That was Bobby Mann's free kick, which Batarus saved. Now Caballero running in Andrews. Still Caballero. Space on the far side for McManus. Now Smith. Kiribaricki's forward on the right-hand side, but he's missed out. Ball's clearance helped on by Vignal and Purso. Malcolm's first time pass finds Novo. That's good play by Novo. And now a great chance for Vignal. Well, what an opportunity that was. Why did Vignal not want to strike that for goal?
I think that just sums Rangers play up at the moment. Very, very nervy, very, very tense.
This is Novo. Can he turn? Purso can. Good block again there by Bobby Mann. Dundee have survived. And now a counter-attack is on, led by Caballero. McManus sprinting through the inside left channel. There's nowhere for Caballero to go, though. Well, Rangers unable to make the breakthrough. Dado Purso had a great chance.
I think this is the best passage of play from Rangers. Good ball into the box there. Good little layoff. Great defending from Dundee. This is a great opportunity to this. I can't believe that Vignal just didn't pull the trigger. Had a shot, but passed the buck. Didn't take the responsibility he should have done.
No faith in his weaker foot. Unlike Ronald Vaterus, who doesn't seem to have a weaker foot. Back here with Ferguson. This is Rickson. Purser shows inside, but it'll go back to Ross. Now Malcolm leaves it to Kyriakos. Ricks has been a good run. Good first touch. Into space now for Purso, and Suter in command with that little flick on from Bobby Mann to make life easier for him.
Better play there from Rangers. Rickson just a little bit more lucid, a little bit more urgency in the runs. He's starting to find a few passes now in and around the Dundee box.
Tempo increased just a little, I think. That's made a big difference. That's McManus. Kyriakos wants Vaterus to come and claim. Not happy with Morris Ross. He wanted him to go much further forward. He'd pick him out with a throw. Ball's pass. Here's Vignal against Kiribaricki. Heavy tackle by Barrett. No foul given. Ali McLeish irate about that. He's also not happy with his players either. That's who he's really gesticulating to.
Pretty strong challenge there from Barrett. I think
played the ball though.
Played the ball, came off worse. I think Alex McLeish is absolutely furious at Morris Ross not exploiting the space in front of him when Vaterus had the ball in his hands. He's wanting him to get forward.
Here's Morris Ross now. Novo and Purso forward, so is Rickson. Here's Morris Ross again. Lovell battling back very well. Very effectively for Dundee. Bad tackle that by Ross on McDonald, trying to excuse himself.
McDonald did well here, but I think you'll find that there's no contact again whatsoever, but winning himself a free kick.
Well, we'll see when Rangers last lost a match outside Glasgow. That was at Tannadice against Dundee United, February 2004, just over a year ago. Well, referee Ian Brines is not happy with Nacho Novo. Well, a fierce exchange there between referee and player. Rickson as a captain trying to explain that to the referee. Encroaching again. Why would he bother encroaching in that position? Incredible. Kyriakos with a header. Foul by Caballero on Kyriakos. It's all tiny and messy now, and Thomas Buffel is going to come on and try and change Rangers' fortunes. Kyriakos with a free kick. easy for Wilkie and for Smith. This is Vigneault. He's out of play. Dragged that back over the touchline. Buffell's coming on to replace Bob Malcolm. Well, what do you make of that change, Mark?
I think the Bob Malcolm situation, I don't think it worked offensively as a tactical ploy, and I think that's why he's come off. I think they're just going to run and let Caballero get into that space and not worry about that now, and play a more comfortable setup, should we say, that Rangers have been playing in the past. Just not look comfortable all day long in that formation.
So that would make Ferguson a sitting player there in the middle of the field. Buffel to go forward and support the front two. Good running by Novo. He's caught by McDonald. He's so positive, Novo.
Yeah, that's what he does. He gets the ball, he drives forward, commits defenders into making tackles, and more often than not, wins a free kick.
Rangers pushing everyone forward here. Marvin Andrews, Kyriakos, they're in the box, joining Purcell. Ball will take this left-footed, trying to get the angle right. Good header down by Kyriakos, and Derek Sousa, the calmest player inside that penalty box, it would appear.
It's the best chance Rangers have had in the whole game. It's a great opportunity. Good header down, just wrong direction.
Matthews comes to meet the ball, and Purcell gets a head flick on. Purcell was Novo rather eased off that by McDonald. Neither official troubled by that. And here's Steve Lovell for Dundee. Chance to run at Ross. Oh, it's good pace from Lovell. Fine play. And very good marking inside the area by Michael Ball. The track Cam McManus all the way there, and just as well for Rangers.
That's what Steve Lovell brings to Dundee. Very good with the ball at his feet. Bags of pace, as we said, to burn. Committed Maurice Ross. Good ball in.
Great defending this by Ball.
Super pass, super ball in that.
Well, Novo's just eased off that.
Just a wee nudge, nothing in that.
Would have been a soft penalty, I must say, but there was no real shout for it. This is Lovell. Forward goes McManus, and there's too much pace in the pass. Matthews is there. This is Ball. Buffel. Well, he was thinking about the next pass, I think.
Yeah, just took his eye off the ball. Classic underneath the sole of the boot.
Well, Celtic found how difficult it could be here. They drew 2-2 earlier in the season. The Rangers finding it just as difficult to make any headway at all. Here's Ferguson now to Rickson. Andrews in possession. Towards Purcell. Good interception by Mann. Now Novo. Not always the cleanest of strikers in that position, Nacho Novo.
No, very snatchy there. Took the ball there. Great little knockdown this from Purcell. The 6 inches, and Buffel was in. Just snatching across the shot there.
There's Lovell. McDonald. Rickson to Buffel. Now Rickson again. Switch of the play is on, and good running by Michael Ball. That's fine play. Much better play from Rangers. And McDonald had to get there. Novo was going in behind him. Encouragement there for Rangers.
That's better play from Rangers, changing the ball from side to side, changing the pitch, changing the angle.
Vignal's corner kick. Andrews attacking the ball. It was Rickson with a shot. Thumped away in the end by Smith. Ross taking it away from Caballero. And then fouled surely by McManus. No argument there.
Silly foul from McManus there. Didn't need to do that. Maurice Ross was running nowhere. Puts his team back under pressure again now, Joe.
Big Ben still there. He's played it in by Ferguson. Andrews at full stretch for that with Mann. Purcell. Shown inside by McDonald. Oh, it came to Andrews. Thought perhaps the man Rangers wanted to see in that position. Frustration for the big man there as he pumps his hands in anger and frustration, but failing to control that. Wilkie's header. Good play by Ball. Very difficult pass that from Vignal. Very difficult indeed. No space at all. I like McLeish now getting very agitated on the touchline. Slowing things down again whenever they have the ball. Novo towards Buffel. That's Wilkie. Lovell. Miscue. Off goes Purcell. They've changed to what's very much like a lost cause. Well, Linesman was in his way there. That's Purcell's problem. He's not happy with that.
Linesman laughing. Yeah. I think probably the best tackle of the day.
Derek Clark on the line there. This is Noble. Very ambitious with a shot from that position, driven straight against Bobby Mann. Buffel to Rickson. Too high for Vignal and Kitamariki, which suits Dundee. Well, will Rangers be considering other changes? It looks as though they are. Stephen Thompson, perhaps the most likely to join the attack.
I would have thought so.
Kyriakos, very strong going for that. The pass is not good enough though. Mann blocked it. Kyriakos kept going, and there's a late challenge by Kitamariki on Vignal. It's a free kick to Rangers. No malice in Kitamarikis challenge, I don't think. He was trying to get there, but certainly caught Vignal.
Just the movers, the touches there, just rushed past Vignal. Quite prepared to take the free kick.
Well, this is tailor-made for Fernando Rickson to swerve one in. There it goes. Well won by Barry Smith for Dundee. Careless play by Caballero, and also by Vignal. A wasted opportunity. Here's Lovell now for Dundee. We're at the three-quarter point in the match. Still no goals scored. It suits Dundee, but does not suit Rangers. Barrett to Caballero. This is Brady. Good movement from Brady. Stepping away from Kyriakos, in fact. Maybe would have had a penalty had he gone down there. There's a chance for Barrett, and he just couldn't collect the ball under pressure from Andrews. Tense moments these for Rangers. The offside decision against Purcell. Well, that really was a tackle by Kyriakos, which could so easily have resulted in a penalty.
Absolutely, very, very risky. I think maybe right on the edge, maybe just inside, but I think if the Dundee play goes down, there's a big decision to be made by the referee.
One boot lost by Maurice Ross. Here's Brady in possession. Still Brady. Now McManus. A little flurry there from Dundee in attack. They haven't shown many ambitions in that respect. Maurice Ross replaces his footwear.
This is the tackle from Kyriakos. He just gets something on the ball. I think he just flicked the ball, actually. But it would have been a tricky one, a big decision.
Honest play by Brady, in fairness. He didn't think about going down. There goes Purcell, who certainly went down very willingly in the first half and got a yellow card. We should give credit to players like Gary Brady in that position, because we're certainly unhappy with divers. He certainly didn't do anything untoward there, and he might well have done so. Buffel. Vigneault. Wilkie. Confident against Buffel. It's a throw to Dundee. Well, these are the kind of, or the types of occasions which can win and lose a championship. Tough grinding match.
Yeah, we did say that before the game, Jock. These are the places that you know, championships can be won or lost. Very difficult place.
Vigneault towards Purcell, who tried to chest that to Purcell, to Novo rather. This is McDonald. Andrews really does worry you sometimes, doesn't he, with his lapses in control. Caballero took a knock as he tried to win that from him. This is Michael Ball. A wrestling match there, Buffel and Barrett.
They get very, very bitty again. A lot of stop-start, a lot of free kicks, which will suit Dundee.
McManus to Wilkie. Barrett under pressure from Ferguson and from Buffel. The referee's not happy with Thomas Buffel, who carried on through with a challenge of Kide Moriki. Well spotted by the referee. It was a nasty challenge, that. Caballero's header. Barrett to Lovell. Well, Lovell's a man who scored twice against Celtic. I would love to do it again here. Buffel. Now Novo. That's good play by Novo. Stopped that beautifully out to Michael Ball and lots of space. Purcell. Real frustration in these Rangers ranks.
Every play at the moment, players you would expect to be holding the ball, flicking the ball. A lot of nerves out there at the moment.
Andrews forward. This is Wilkie. And now Caballero. Held up well by Kyriakos. That's good play by Ross. Very calm. Made sure he had the right position to in the end of that ball. Strong challenge by Wilkie and Purcell. No foul given. That's McManus. Kyriakos with a header. Here's Buffel. Rickson's found some space. His movement from the runs of Novo and Buffel, but he aimed for the most athletic figure, who was Purcell. This is Ball. Held up well by Kide Moriki. Here's Purcell again. Phil Purcell, well tackled there by Wilkie.
Super defending there from Lee Wilkie. Never took his eye off the ball. Important tackle.
That's good play from Rangers. Ferguson to Novo, then Ross. We have to start again from the throw. Good crossing opportunity that for Rangers, which wasn't taken. Change being made now by Dundee. Tom McManus, who's just back from injury, is replaced by Scott Robertson. And that's going to be shoring up midfield a little bit, because Scott Robertson will go in there quite happily.
Making up the numbers in there, plenty of bodies in there trying to pick up the second ball. Expecting the last 15 minutes to be a frantic one.
Robertson, the 19-year-old, into midfield. This is Novo, couldn't get away there from McDonald, but it's a corner kick to Rangers. Urgency now coming from all these Rangers players and the supporters showing their anxiety. It's a good ball in, but it's well met by Bobby Mann. Returned by Ferguson. Mann goes again. Towering figure in there. Good challenge by Rickson. That's been Yall once more. Was it handball? No, says the referee. And Scott Robertson's first involvements to be fouled by Buffel. Free kick to Dundee, they'll welcome that. Now Caballero with Rickson. Pumping tackle goes in from the Rangers captain. Dundee in no great hurry to take this. Smith strong on the ball here against Buffel. Free kick's given. Buffel's bars them over.
Good play from Barry Smith there, knew what he was doing. Could have got the ball into the box, but elected to take the ball into the corner. Just going down, slightest of pushes. Any encouragement?
More anxious moments for Rangers. Danger of the set piece. Wilkie and Mann are in there. So too is Andrews once again, but it's a corner kick to Dundee.
An important touch there from Martin Andrews. Everyone coming in late on the far post, unmarked. Vital touch.
Gary Brady goes across to take Dundee's first corner kick of the match. The outswinger this time. Barnes header. Away by ball. Still a problem. Lee Wilkie's in there. The free kick's given. Relief for Rangers. Well, Vaterus impeded there. Wilkie asking what that was given for.
Anybody that's coming in from the right there, jumping up for a ball. It's a simple decision for a referee.
Good header on by Purcell. McDonald's clearance. Andrews to Rickson. Here it is to Morris Ross. Purcell again the target. Wilkie commanding in there. A bit of wrestling going on. Ferguson laying that back for Ross. Morris Ross not having the happiest of matches.
Just headed that too well there, Bobby Mann. And that's the free kick. Anybody coming in behind challenging a ball like that, simple decision for the referee.
Here's Scott Robertson, a very lively player in the middle of the field, a 19-year-old. Wide to Kitamariki. Good challenge again by Robertson. Novo reacts angrily. And unnecessarily, I must say. A strong challenge by Robertson, but a fair one. The throw to Rangers. Well, it was 78 minutes when Novo scored in the first match this season between the two clubs. They put Rangers in front. Good turn there by Brady. Ferguson back to Andrews. Always goes for route one, Andrews. Purcell's head up. That's Vignal leaving that to Buffel. There's Purcell! Just too high for him, I think. couldn't get real power into that.
Yeah, it's just a lofted in ball, but definitely the best move of the half. Just nodding off on the ball, falling away from it. Made the keeper make a save.
Andrews winning that against Lovell, who felt the full brunt of the Trinidadians' challenge. Ronald Batarus now. Route 1 again. Oh, Route 1 with Mann and Wilkie there, and Suter in good form. Unlikely to cause too much trouble.
I think we've got to look at more angle balls at the side of the centre halves. Just food and drink for the two big boys at the back.
Ferguson's header beyond Noble. There's Mann. Well, Dundee deserve immense credit for the way in which they've handled themselves this afternoon, especially after such an appalling performance that they had last week against Livingston, which I had the misfortune to witness. Here's Rickson. Back it comes to Andrews. Kyriakos. Here's the Rangers player, going to make himself a hero before the end. Or will it be a team of heroes for Dundee? There's Buffel. Well, I'm sure that's not what he meant, but it almost paid off coming out of the sun.
Deep ball from Gregory Vignol. Good play between Ball and Vignol. Really deep one. Just misdirected, but a big problem there for Suter. Ended up a good save coming out the sun. You can see what Suter was saying, not a lot.
Oh, he did well in the circumstances, didn't he? Vignol's corner. Kira Mariki, another corner kick. Well, there'll be a pounding, I suspect, of that Dundee goal in the closing 10 minutes or so. I'm sure Alec McLeish will have the message very clearly to his team. Marvin Andrews! The pressure has paid off, and it's the man from Trinidad who breaks the deadlock for Rangers.
You could feel the tension go as soon as that ball went into the back of the net. The supporters up on the feet. Had a great delivery. Just the wrong side. Nobody anywhere near Marvin Andrews. Whoever's picking his up. Callum MacDonald, I think it was, got caught on his heels, and that man thrown into that area. You'll put your house on it.
Giving thanks, I think, there, Marvin Andrews. A religious man, and clearly I'm very happy and relieved. He really has battled all day. There's one or two dodgy moments in the match defensively, but there was nobody going to stop that header. Here goes Novo now. This pressure's gone off Rangers. And Dundee have to think in terms of getting back on the attack and changing the whole way of playing. This is Barry Ferguson. Purcell. Good turn. Running into Robertson, running away from Robertson. Purcell again, and fine goalkeeping by Suter. That was down to positioning for the keeper.
It's incredible. After a goal, it's the difference in the freedom of the players now. A lot more confidence coming back.
Nimble play again from Thomas Buffel. Here's Vignol. Mistake there by Rickson. He tries to retrieve it with that heavy tackle on Caballero at the expense of a throw. Well, McLeish still agitated, still concerned. This game's not yet won. Good play by Rickson. Noble will want to have a run here at McDonald, I suspect. Purcell did well. He's away from Mann. Good chance this again. And turned in by Rickson. It's 2 to Rangers.
Fantastic play from Dado Purcell. All made by that man. Clinical finish, cool as you like, Fernando Rickson. Not been in the game a lot today. He found himself in an advanced position. Great running behind Bobby Mann there. Completely out the game, cool as you like. Little side foot, Suter no chance. 2-0, and you would say at this stage, game over.
Oh, he passes this in, Rickson, doesn't he? It really is a super finish.
Yeah, great play from Perso. Fantastic play, cool as you like. Didn't panic, picked out Rickson. Thank you very much, right into the corner.
Well, was that a pass back? Dundee think it was, but the referee deciding it was not intentional. That ball played back to Batarus. Well, I've got to say, you have some sympathy for all of these Dundee players. In fact, the whole Dundee team, they really have battled and performed to a game plan set out by Jim Duffy, which seemed to be very effective indeed.
You couldn't see a goal coming from anywhere in this game, Jock, and all of a sudden, we were talking about that little bit of inspiration. Your man Marvin Andrews comes up, lifts the pressure off everybody.
John Sutton going to come on for Dundee, a goal scorer. He'll replace Neil Barrett. Well, it's a mirror image of the first match here in the league at Dens. 78 minutes for the first goal, and 2 minutes later a second. And the Rangers won that by 2-0. And history repeating itself here. Gary Brady flights in the long ball, which Andrews wins. Dumped away by Kyriakos. Well, it's Dundee who have to do the chasing now. They have to have faith, they have to have belief, they have to be willing to draw on all the reserves here in the closing stages. Ball across to Vignal. Strong challenge by Brady, who's had a good match for Dundee. Caballero looking for Lovell's pace. Andrews matches him all the way. They collide. The free kick is given. It is outside the box. Well, I think the referee got that right. Stevie Lovell's in some difficulty. There's the foul.
Yeah. Marvin Andrews just been outdone with the pace of Stevie Lovell there. I saw one for the pair of them.
Well, a heavy collision with that man, Marvin Andrews. Such a wholehearted contributor.
That man never stays down. It must have been a pretty sore one.
Has to leave the field, of course. Well, he looks to be the man who has turned the tide Rangers' way. So a good opportunity here for Dundee. They could make the last few minutes very tense indeed if they could do something from here. Marvin Andrews not coming back, it looks like. Well, Marvin Andrews leaving the field. Well, a tough task, I think, for you this afternoon, Mark. Who's the man of the match?
I thought he was going to say something inspirational off a pretty dull game, but I think that man Marvin Andrews gave the inspiration to his team, and I think dragged the result out for the Rangers Football Club today. So man of the match is Marvin Andrews.
Well, he certainly was a man who did something special to turn it all around. And it may well have a vital bearing on the championship race. There goes Sutton getting across the bows of Ross. There's a Dundee player on the ground. There'll be a hold up until that's attended to by the referee. That was Lee Wilkie who's taken a knock. Stephen Thompson is coming on to replace Marvin Andrews. Some reorganisation perhaps defensively. Well, Thompson's going to centre-back, it would appear. Doing a marking job anyway on Lee Wilkie, who's back involved. Headed away by Kyriakos. Rickson on to Perso. He leaves that to Wilkie now to collect. This is Lovell with ball going across for the tackle. Well, the sadness here in terms of history for Dundee is that the last time they lost 4 league games in a row was in season 202 and 203, and their fourth league defeat was against Rangers in January 2003, just over 2 years ago. So there's Jim Duffy still working hard on the touchline. 2 minutes of additional time to be added on here. And you can take it that Rangers will be mightily relieved to escape from Dens with 3 points, as it looks as though they're going to do now.
Absolutely, Jock. I think you know, it's been a pretty poor game. You say it's something inspirational for one player. Marvin Andrews pulled that out, but been a pretty dull game to say the least.
Off goes Noble. Purcell's on the other player in the box till Buffel arrives. He does now. Back it comes to Vignal. Aiming there for Purcell. Wasn't a bad ball, but Purcell had just come inside there. He's retrieved it though. Oh, he's managed to go outside him. It's good play again. That's Buffel, full of energy and enthusiasm. Another opportunity here to deliver. Well, the fourth official has changed that additional time to 3 minutes. Perhaps the injury there a moment ago. Buffel making for the byline. Turned away by McDonald. Good play by Buffel. He's made a good contribution since coming on.
I must say that Rangers have a lot more comfortable since he's come on there, Jock. I say, just dropping back into the formation that we've been playing, the 4-4-2 situation. And you know, you could say he's been one of the inspirations as well in the Rangers revival.
A couple of changes going to be made, substitutions going to be made by both teams. Ross McCormack, I think, coming on for Rangers. Well, the bobble there made Vignal look a little bit foolish there. There's Kyriakos. Oh, it's great play by Kyriakos. Looking for Buffel, who's tackled well by Kidamaniki in the box. And Kyriakos going for glory there, didn't quite come off.
Super play from the big centre half there.
So it's going to be Aaron Conway coming on, the 19-year-old, to replace Steve Lovell. He certainly has worked his socks off in Dundee's cause this afternoon.
Steve Lovell still struggling from that collision with Marvin Andrews.
And that's Nova withdrawn, allowing Ross McCormack a little glimpse of first team action. It will only be a glimpse. 18-year-old Ross McCormack comes on. And play beside that of Purcell. Very happy Rangers supporters now. How the mood has changed in the last quarter of an hour. The last 10 minutes even. Quite remarkable. That's Kyriakos. Now Smith. Caballero. Fouled by McCormack. Well, Caballero looking askance at McCormack, and that induced that reaction from the skipper. But under Rickson, as Marvin Andrews makes for the dressing room and for some treatment, I suspect, on that injury. Callum MacDonald now will launch this into the Rangers box. There's Caballero, couldn't get the ball down quickly enough. Now Wilkie. The throw goes to Rangers, and that just about tied up for them. But it does. Referee Ian Bryans brings the match to an end. It's been tough, it's been hazardous all the way. It really has been a tough, unrelenting battle for Rangers. Alec McLeish and Andy Watson there, I suspect, thoroughly relieved. Jim Duffy disappointed that his excellent game plan didn't quite pay off. Fernando Rickson scored the second goal, but the first was scored by Marvin Andrews, a towering header, a powerful header from that corner kick, and then Purcell on the byline, pulling the ball back, and Rickson calmly tucking the ball away. It looked so unlikely for so long that Rangers could make that breakthrough, but they've managed it in the end. It may turn out to be crucial in the race for the title. It's Dundee 0, Rangers 2.
10 minutes from time, there were worried looks on the faces of the Rangers supporters at Dens Park, but it's all worked out in the end for the Ibrox team. A 2-0 win at Dens, another 2-0 win at Dens, reminiscent of what happened in September, with a couple of late goals from Novo that time, giving Rangers the points. And as for Dundee, well, no 90 minutes, one shot at goal, which just about sums it up from their point of view.